And why are we blessed with your Chevelle again?
Oh, because someone gave me some faulty directions.
Oh, come on.
Someone who shall remain nameless, Blair.
That is not true.
And we inflicted some serious damage on our new paint job.
That's an innie.
Yeah. There's two.
Okay, how come you don't have a mirror on this door?
Because they never came with one.
Doesn't freaking matter.
Well, I didn't need a mirror. I had you giving me directions saying back up.
Oh,
it wasn't his fault. It's the driver's fault at all times.
yes, yes.
And why are you fixing this for free? That one, yes. The one I blame Matt on and I got for. Another one, I shouldn't have put the car out there, high wind.
So this has got to be ready for racing on the weekend.
Yeah, tomorrow would be nice if possible. If you could.
Wasn't it last year that you hit a deer and I had to fix it the day before the races?
Actually, it was the day after the races, yes.
Oh.
That's why we repainted it, because the paint didn't match. Anyway.
This time it will.
Yes. I guaranteed it will, because we ordered 3 extra quarts. Anyway. Okay. I mean, I don't expect miracles, but if we could kind of hide some of the damage would be nice, just, right?
Have you found your keys so I can open the trunk and bang that out?
In the ignition. The trunk key is the round one.
Yeah.
I actually look and see if not there's spare. I can actually grab the keys. Let's just check right now. There could be stuff hiding out in here that I haven't seen yet. It should be the old round, this one, I'm thinking. And what's in here? Is there anything good? Oh.
Hey, this is the
First aid kit, brake lines, first aid bag, yeah, 2 first aid bags.
You should always have that.
Yes.
Or anyone working with
Yeah.
you should.
Anyway, so.
So yeah, okay, I can bump that out now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Do what you can do, Blair. Appreciate it, bud.
I get to fit Mike's divots. This may not be considered a typical conventional repair. As usual, he smacks up his car, and now he needs it quickly. He's not going to run any faster. But he wants it fixed. So I have graciously volunteered, because I have no freaking choice. I want to give it some tooth. And I'm going to try to pop it out a little bit. And keep the repair really small. And I'd like to set up his hood so it actually pops open. Pull the latch with the hood spring. Okay, forget about that part. Yeah, I think I can get in there. Okay. I have a couple of super duper pry bars. And I gotta find my hammer. One of these should work. Vance from the museum has a huge collection of these. And he can do dentless, paintless dent repair, which is another art unto its own. Oh man, I don't know if I can use that. Okay, this is one of those, I have no time. I'm gonna grind it and I'm gonna put a pin on it and pull it. Awesome. The only way you can screw up, well, there's actually a few ways. You got to hold it perfectly square to the metal, or you'll burn a hole. You better explain if you don't have a good contact between the point and the ground, and it's loose, it'll spark up like a welder and burn a hole. So you have to make sure that you have good contact, and just, which I don't, gotta grind a bit bigger. And may have got enough. And then we should just pull it out. Tapping around it can help bring it out. Now, if you just break that thing off, a lot of times you'll make a hole. Cut it off. Except you should have your freaking goggles first. Pretty nice. So because it's a super fast repair, you know, I can take out the headlight and all this stuff. Work and dolly, but I don't have time for that. When I paint this, I'm going to try to cut it off right here on this edge and blend it. So now I'll go do the back. It is indented. I've got to V this out a bit. You know, a guy could just scrape putty over it and sand it and be perfectly smooth, but it would eventually shrink and you'd see the edges. So I'm gonna have a repair about this wide. That one I'll just feather and putty. And then I can do a blend on it, maybe tonight. Can feather it out a bit. I'm gonna tap it a little more, I'm thinking. I want to get rid of the broken paint. See, the problem is here, you just paint a small area and then you clear coat your entire panel. Except clear coating this entire panel, there's no cutoff. You go into the roof in the other corner. So I'm going to try to cut it off here. You know, I'm just going to try to do a blend. And I got to go here. So I'm going to be spraying color here and here, and I'll be blending. Hell, I might go all the way up the quarter, but I can't get it in the paint booth. I'm going to be doing this out here on the floor. So it's going to be a little bit of a dust issue. But I mean, we don't have any place. Ah, damn. Are you serious?
July.
You're leaving at the end of July.
Yeah.
Well, holy that's great. I might as well, I can start slacking.
Yeah, we get them both done by then.
Hey.
Brother.
Oh, well, if we got them both done, I might be tempted to go somewhere with one of them just to break it in for you.
Oh yeah, well, you just might be done, take a month off and drive across Canada.
If I had a convertible to drive, I would.
Hey, well, let's see if we can't get that Cadillac fired up.
Oh, just like it is, man.
Holy I got paperwork. Well, you might want to pound out the one door.
Well, I'd take a toilet plunger over and use like a suction cup, pop that dent.
Maybe take that backseat carpet out, fold up the floor and see our spread. Anyway, that's why there. I think we got enough time. But we still got to get on it.
Well, yeah. So I mean, let's just keep going, push. I mean, holy.
Yeah. No. Well, now I'm done work, Blair. I just got to I didn't plan on taking that much. I thought we'd be doing it in February. But it's done now, right?
Right.
Well, but before I leave, I'll have that 800 grand in the bank. Big camper.
Exactly.
And maybe Connor's house will sell.
Well, that'd be a bonus, yes.
Well, no I'll fill those too.
Okay, man. Well, that's good news. So 69 days, you counted them.
Well, whatever. There's 27, 30, and 57. And what day is it today?
16.
And 67 days.
Okay, well, that's good news. Except you're leaving a week early.
Well, no, we're leaving 2 days early. So now day 65 days. So we got to be in Edmonton for the 27th.
Oh, hell, I can take the rest of the day off then.
Yeah. You go work on Lou's car.
Yeah, Sunday, man. That's a priority, actually. Yes, I will. Okay, man. Sounds good. Hey, do I need to call you back to remind you about the liner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, by the time I get there, I'll have to go right to my meeting. Then I'm going to go visit Kev for an hour, but I'll be out on the res thereafter. So I'll go grab that liner.
Okay.
Okay, ciao.
Ciao.
I'll phone me in an hour and a half or so at 10:30 if you remind me.
I will.
Okay, thanks, Blair.
Bye. Okay. Not quite. There's still some chip paint in the middle here. It's got to go. It's just like a crack in steel. You got to go right to the bottom. Jeez. And the hair up here. We got to get all the loose stuff. Imagine I'll get a few comments about this. I use filler. I don't use putty for minor imperfections. There's nothing wrong with that, depending who you are. I worry about the flexibility of putty. Now, putty's not nearly as flexible, but it doesn't have to be because it's for very tiny imperfections. Some putties, I've noticed shrinkage after it cures, a week later. If you are doing a major project, that's not a concern. It's not like you're going to paint it the day after you apply some putty. Putty is way easier to sand. Polyester putties, there's different types. Anyhow, on this, I'm using filler. And I'm going to let it dry up quite well. As always, squish it in hard. I do not want to end up having to do a bunch of coats. So I'm going to go especially proud on this. I know, it looks awesome, doesn't it? But this is your basic emergency after hours call out. When I block it, I'll be able to see if I went far enough from side to side. Perhaps I had more of a dent there than I felt. Wipe off the excess. This is going to be big anyhow. And we go do the front one. Hey, get rid of that. I'm trying to keep it as small as possible. And before I do my blend, I'll end up polishing around it, maybe. Yeah, I think it's got some, got to clean it really, really well. So anyhow, we let that sit. When it's, I'll try to shave it down and make it close. And then I want to let it sit for a few hours before I do my final sand on it with 400 grit. I'm not going to spray high solids primer on this. I might even use an etching primer. I want to keep it small, and I don't want to end up having to paint a whole freaking fender. So same with the quarter panel. Keep it small. So I'll come back to that in probably 5 minutes. Yeah, it's pretty green. That's all right. Yeah, you can see it comes off real easy where I didn't sand the paint. That's why you give it tooth. So prepping your metal for the body work is incredibly important. Not just give it tooth, but no contaminants like oil from your hands, or someone's been running a diesel pickup truck in your shop for a while. The metal's got to be clean, so you wipe it down, put some tooth in it, and you can apply your filler. Now this is pretty freaking close, but it's still pretty wet. But it's close enough that I'm going to jump right from 80 to 400 grit, and I'm going to finish this so it's perfectly smooth. Now I'll go do the back part of it. I know, you're not supposed to jump more than 100 points in your sandpaper. So if that's 80, you should go 180, 240, 320, 400. But in the real world, occasionally, we do it differently. Even though recommending to never go more than 100 grit points is correct. I'm just doing a very small area here, and I will pay the price. I'll have to sand very, very hard with the 400 to get rid of the 80. See how it just falls off the paint that I didn't prep? Oh, geez. This has got to be painted at the very latest tomorrow morning. Which, this is easy. It's just I got to prep everything else, cover the whole car. Then I got to order plastic for a car cover for masking up the car. Geez, maybe I should save it and let Cassidy paint it in the morning. She'll be here tomorrow. finer grit. Okay, just for the heck of it, 320. It's gonna plug up right away, but I want to keep this one incredibly small. So I don't want to be sanding out 80 grit scratches. I mean, you can sand any body filler with, you can start with 1000 grit if you want, it just takes longer. When my dad taught me, he was using wet or dry sandpaper, but that was a different material back then. I was a little kid. And people used 2x4s for blocks. Now we have all this fancy stuff, which is really freaking nice. Ooh. Oh, yes. Okay. Let's try that here. It's going better than I expected. Yeah. I spoke too soon. Damn it. Oh boy. It's so close. But you just gotta keep sanding and sanding. And as you burn through, the car will tell you if it's straight. I don't mind going along this ways. I'm gonna end up painting and clearing right to here anyhow, and maybe to that line, so I can make all the mess back here I want. Going forward, I'm trying to be careful. I'm gonna have to paint right down to this black underneath where the chrome's supposed to go to. And that actually makes my job a lot easier. I wish there was chrome right freaking here. This would be easy in a perfect world. So, and you can still see it flakes away on the edges where I didn't prep the paint for mud, and that's all right. Keep sanding until it starts to feather nicely like this. You can see that. So if I was going to prime this, this would probably be good enough. This primer will help avoid bullseyes, but I don't want to waste the time. Or you prime this area, now I got to paint out to here. If I can just do a little bit with etching primer, I keep the area smaller. So when you're doing blend jobs, at least when I'm doing blend jobs, smaller the better. You go, to do this job right, I'll take it to a body shop. Some painter in a body shop that does 7 paint jobs a day, cleaning up fenders and stuff, those guys are amazing. They can blend off anything, faded colors, all kinds of variants. So really, that's the best place to go, but trying to fit it into a shop, especially, that's just very difficult to get in. And we have everything we need here. So I am not as good a blender by any means with these people who do it every day. They have some amazing talent. And sometimes I can pull it off really well, but it's, I do my best. So, nope. I can just, okay, it's very, very close. This is all 320 grit scratches. You can still see some of my 80 out here. That's what I'm talking about. You got to refine all that. There can't be any 80 grit scratches at all. And there's a few here. So now, you can see this is feathered out really nice. When you can see a sharp edge like that, that means, maybe I sanded it when it's too wet, took too much out. Doesn't really matter. That's going to need another coat of filler, which is the damn shame. So I'm gonna go up to the front, seeing I gotta mix up filler anyhow. And who knows? Let's see how this feels. That feels pretty good. But like I say, I can go with a micro thin coat now, and I probably will. I'll just cover it again. And I'll go sand the front to 320 right now. And then I'll give it a final micro thin coat. And then I'll try to ignore it till this afternoon to get it, let it really harden up well. So I can really hit it with a 400 and then put some etching primer on it probably, or some type of, hell, it might even be spray can primer. You gotta remember the color sealer I use, because the color of your sealer definitely will affect, especially a transparent color, like Mike's car here. So if I use gray sealer before, I gotta do the same thing again. No big deal, you just need to pay attention to that. Some people call it color matching, I don't know what you call it, but use the same sealer. And you need to use the same air pressure, same pattern. Problem is, I might be doing some of this painting with an airbrush instead of a conventional gun. And that makes it a little more difficult to copy your technique. That's why guys that do 7 or 8 paint jobs a day in a commercial collision shop, their talent's worth a lot of money. Reasonably happy with it, which means it's not good enough. One more coat. I'm gonna put masking tape on the edge so I don't accidentally screw up again, and sand on the paint. And then I can get back to doing my wheelhouse on the car that is, it turns out, we have like 65 days. We suck it now. Okay, so, gonna let that sit for, oh wait a minute. Then I'm gonna let that sit for a while. Okay, here we go. Pretty hard now. You can see the fine dust opening up with 120. Just that much. It's such a thin coat and there's very few ribs. I managed to spread it pretty smooth so I don't have all the big high marks from my putty knife. I like to use metal. Some people like plastic. Whatever makes you happy for spreading filler. I like the machined edge on a metal knife, especially when you're doing a top coat like this, so you want really freaking fine. Okay, that's all it takes. That's pretty close. That's gonna sit for at least a couple hours. And now I'll go do the back. Because this stuff does shrink and move a bit. So I wanna make sure it's good and dry. Can you see that? Is there too much sunlight? How can you have too much sunlight? I let this harden up quite a bit, just so I didn't, makes it tougher to sand too far. This is always one of the big problems. You keep going back to the can, mixing up more, spreading it, spending more money on sandpaper. I really try to get stuff in one coat, but it doesn't always work out. Okay, that's feeling pretty nice. You just keep changing directions and watch it. Like I say, I'll go over this with 400 grit afterwards. But I just want to get it roughed down. Roughed in, shall we say. I'm getting up pretty high here by the time I prime and paint. I'm going to be right up to this freaking end, you know it. He told me not to get too carried away. He just doesn't want to see the visible scratch. But I would never hear the end of it. Sometimes, he likes to needle a guy a little bit. And he may forget what he requested. Sounds a bit accusatory in nature, of course, but yes, he has been known at times to harangue people. Hard to believe. So I want to avoid that. So I want to make this pretty freaking nice, regardless of what he asked for. I mean, it's like a year ago, Connor says, hey man, my battery broke loose and I put a big dent coming out in his quarter panel. And he calls me up, hey man, I don't even care what color it is. I drive my freaking car, okay? I just don't want it to rust. So fix the dent and just dab some paint on it, do whatever you want. So I fix the area, I end up doing a blend, I cut it off in the middle of the panel, my blend. Yeah, it's pretty nice actually. You could see it a little bit if you knew where to look. But I went, no big deal. I didn't even polish it. No one's ever gonna see it. And then they call up and say, hey, guess what, Blair? We're gonna put this in the center of Toronto Motorama so everyone can see it. And it's like, and I didn't have a chance to polish it out or make it super nice. So you never know what Mike's gonna do with this car. So I gotta do a pretty good job. Okay, so this is sanded to 120. I'm gonna let it harden up for a couple hours and then I'll come back with the 400 and do my final sand on it. and then I gotta prep the whole panel for doing a spot repair. And you know, I did one, well, a year ago. I should really sneak it off to a collision shop and have an expert do it, but we'll get her done. All right, gonna get some 400 grit and sand that down. Final sand in. Going by hand because I'm blending into the paint. Block is safer. Yeah, what's that? Chip? Oh, that's a chip. I think I went over it with 320 last time. I'm gonna get a block now. I don't want to mess it up at this stage. Just a thin one. So you just, again, you crisscross back and forth. I had it pretty straight. I'm just trying to refine the scratches. I'm sanding past it, so I have a place for my primer to stick. And the paint is going to be a perfect match, so I can panel paint right to the edge here. Okay, it's coming all right. I think I got it blocked straight and refine my scratches where I can just lightly get the edges by hand. Enough that I can prime it. And I'm going to prime up to this edge. I will leave a sharp edge there because there's a body line and I can feather that off and it'll be perfect. You should never sand in a straight line. You will see the grooves from your fingers. Will show up. It's so close. And I don't want to screw it up. Again, if I was priming it, I wouldn't be concerned. But I don't really have time to prime it. Not with normal primers, high solvents. No, it is pretty good. I'm not pressing very hard. Yeah, beauty. This actually will give me a little bit of a soft edge. So I'll prime from this direction, it'll be a soft edge over there. Throw some paper around it. This isn't for paint, this is just to spray some heat primer on it. Yeah, this will get some comments. No, this isn't super high tech, high end. I'm trying to do a really quick splash for Mike. So I can touch it up with a freaking airbrush or a freaking brush. Last time we wiped it out on the way to Toronto, the night before, when we were fixing Otto's research center, I suppose. He messed it up pretty good. And I touched it up with a brush. And it was all right. So here's what I'm doing. Some etching primer. Oh. It's gonna take a while to shake up, apparently. Pretty sure this is how Chip does it. Yep, let that sit for a bit. All right. This is 400. Taking it down. Again, I can go way wider here because I'm going to go all the way down here or to here with paint and up to there. For this back one, I can have some pretty long strokes. It makes it super freaking smooth. I'm a little high up here still, but you just keep. You know, I can see what's going on. Yeah, I'm a little high. That's all nice. A little bit of overspray from my mud work. I'm feeling a bump in here. I mean, this is so thin. You can see the first coat through this coat. It's right here. It's just a bit high in the middle. Now, You wouldn't want to do a whole car, finishing all your body work and 400 grit, and then just using thin coat of spray bomb primer. You'd be asking for trouble. But in a controlled instance like this, it's gonna work just fine. Just trying not to sand too far. Paint is just a magnifying glass to show every one of your sins and errors. Yeah, that's freaking cool. And this one was pretty good before, but we got to get rid of all those heavier scratches. And Mike's blaming me for this. He's backing up. There's the fender sitting here. I see he's cleared the fender. I'm on the other side of the car, figuring he can back up his own car. He's totally blaming me because I didn't run around this side and notice there was a rad support attached to the fender he was going past. He missed it coming back, and when he drove ahead, the back end swung out, caught the rad support and damaged it. I kind of think you should have a mirror on this door, because we've had a few little incidents. I mean, Mike's a really good driver, sometimes. I think his friend Bill came up with that, and I like it. Okay, so we're there, really fine scratches. I'm going to run some paper around this and lightly prime it with some etching primer of all things. And as I say, I'm sure some people in the focus group may offer me some thoughts on that, which I'm actually quite willing to listen to and see what they have to say. I'm not a collision guy. We've all done it. There's another way you fold your tape. I just didn't do it that way. I guess if you're trying to make a soft edge, you can use wider tape, but you fold it over so the edge won't stick. And then when you tape it up there, this edge stays up. And you prime, and you get a soft edge under there instead of a thick buildup by the edge. And all this is getting sanded, all this. So I have a bit of primer land on it. I don't care. A friend of mine has a beautiful 67-ish Mustang Fastback. And the previous owner had done some weird touch-ups. So we yacked on the phone and he did his touch-ups with a spray can. Just for now, till he can decide he's going to do the whole car. It freaking looked awesome. You couldn't see it, 10 feet away. And that's sort of what Mike was looking for, because he's going to be at the drags this weekend. I purposely got a run in there just so I can show you how to deal with that. Okay, I'll let that dry for a bit. All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
So you thought you were coming here to do some body work, did you?
Well, I know I'm polishing today.
Yes, you are. But first and foremost, we need to bring the orange car out of the booth, put it up here. So we have to move all this crap into the front bay so we can get Mike's car out, orange car up here, get Mike's car into the booth, because we have to spray 2 panels today. And then he's driving it at 6 o'clock in the morning through a snowstorm to a race.
All right.
So, first order of the day is we got to move a bunch of crap.
Sounds good.
I can only imagine your surprise. Okay.
All right, so here at Rust Bros this morning, we got to do some reorganizing in order to get Mike's car in the booth for some touch-ups, and I'm going to be polishing the Roadrunner, but I'll show you guys what we're up against. We couldn't pack any more stuff in this shop. So, we gotta move this car into that booth, but there's a Roadrunner in that booth that I'm gonna be polishing today, but this has to go in there to get repainted. So we gotta move all of that in order to get that car forwards, this car out, and into the booth. How many tons of stuff do you think we're gonna have to move?
More than you can shake a stick at. Look at this. We have 2 brand new fenders on the 70 Chevelle. And we just got 2 more brand new Chevelle fenders. Why?
Are you doing another Chevelle?
Well, that's what I asked. He said, well, we have another one. So that's another one in the freaking lineup, I guess. We're working on 4 cars right now.
It's pretty busy here. We're hoping to get all of this stuff into here. So.
Hey, got in without any more dents?
Yeah, you were nowhere near it. So yes.
So, are we gonna wash it first, or no, we're just gonna, how do we get the dirt off, or are you worried about it?
No.
Okay,
I'm going to probably clear the whole fender. After consulting with Miss Cassidy, I'll have to do a blend up here. I mean, I was thinking of cutting it off
okay,
there. I'm gonna have to cut it off here.
okay. So what do you need, a hose, bucket, hot water?
Well, no,
Well, it's
Final wash?
probably, yeah, like I would mask the whole thing up, like
Yeah.
just wipe right, just mask the whole thing up, and then I just wipe this with wax and grease.
exactly.
And then we'll do our final sand and,
I'm gonna cut it off here, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Sounds like we have a plan. Just remember, it's going drag racing tomorrow. Gotta look like that.
No pressure.
No pressure. Lots of time. That's what you told me.
Then you're gonna drag racing and then you're gonna f it up while you're there.
Last time you didn't hear.
Yeah, last year we picked off a deer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That was last year, that was the year before.
What?
I guess year before.
2 years ago?
Yeah. And then while you're at it, Cass, there's a couple little stone chips you can fix. There's like one there.
No. Yeah, get a Sharpie and just touch them up.
Yeah.
It sounds nice though.
What? I know we finally got the tick fixed. It was one lifter.
Yeah, I guess I'll take that off.
Okay, so Blair, what do you want me to do? Start cleaning up this pigsty?
Absolutely, just a minute. Yes.
I miss you guys, and then I come here, and then I'm like, well, it's still better to work.
Some kind of a controlled chaos, I don't know what the hell it is.
It's definitely uncontrolled chaos.
So my thought was, we should try to gently find a wash where we're gonna run a masking tape.
Alright, so we're gonna mask up the Chevelle to paint the front driver's side fender and the passenger side quarter, because Mike's already put some dents in it and he's going drag racing tomorrow at 6 a.m. and it's 9 o'clock right now, so we gotta get busy doing this. Blair's already done the little repairs. It's been a long morning of moving stuff so far.
work for us. Say hi, Cass.
Hi guys.
So basically, we came back from the trip and I put a big dent in the quarter here. Front fender.
And the quarter back there.
And then when we were doing an oil change, we had a couple other little faux pas, no names being mentioned. Blair. We. I was driving, Blair was giving directions anyway. So we're taking this to Merritt. You guys want to, we're going to go to Merritt Maydays and challenge my son Connor to a drag race. He's probably going to kick my but you know what they say, it's not whether you win or lose, it's just whether you're playing the game. So we're going to put the old 68, 502, carbureted up against his 66, 850 horse, supercharged fuel injected motor. And
got his,
You got something up your sleeve, I can tell.
well, I got slicks, axle slicks. I'm going to pump them down to about 14, 15 pounds and see if I can't whole shot the little bugger. Anyway, it's gonna be fun trying.
Yeah, just get it painted and reassembled.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not driving it till what?
Tomorrow morning, 5
18
o'clock. Yeah. Not spot, more rock as we like.
Not the time. No worries at all. There, sanded.
Yes, we pumped this thing around, and guys, 2 months ago, we polished this, and now for and giggles,
Oh yeah.
we're doing it again. We're not gonna get it polished by 5 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Okay. Finished painting half an hour ago. Mike wants to race this tomorrow. So, putting it together, wet.
Not my style.
Trying to get it
I don't know what this goes
done so he can leave in about 12 hours.
You'll find something.
And they're predicting snow.
Repurpose it, Cass.
So, anyhow, you do what you gotta do. So yeah, this is pretty freaking fresh. Well, incredibly freaking fresh. But I gotta get it done. I still gotta change the wiper motor. And a new washer mechanism so he can have window squirters too. We finally have the parts. And I've been bugging him to fix it, so he made the tag. So I'm fixing it. And then when it's a bit drier, Cassidy's polishing right now. And she can come in and put together the front part she took off. And then we let it dry overnight. Hopefully there's no runs. Not that I've seen yet. And he can drive it to Maydays. And Connor's taking his car. And totally abused the vehicle. And then Monday we'll see what else we're gonna fix. New dents, things like that. course, I don't have time to polish it because usually the paint has to be dry before you can polish it. And then I can get back to the 64 Malibu. And hopefully we get Cassidy back on Monday, which I think is a holiday, but we are under the gun a bit. So, it'll be interesting to see if I can finish putting this together without screwing up the wet paint. Okay. We're going to tighten up the emblem. Probably don't need to tighten the bolts clear so sticky, it'll just be like glue.